live.
Well, good afternoon from the office of the Eastern Daily Press and Norwich Evening News. It's election count day. The votes were all cast yesterday and they've all been counted this morning. And so with me this afternoon, Dan Grimmer, our local government expert.
Hello.
So Dan, just give us the top line of what today's results are telling us.
Well, bluntly, it's a very good day for the Conservatives with regards to Norfolk County Council. They did have a administration, but it was on a knife edge, but it's not anymore. They've had a very good day. They now have 55 divisions in Norfolk that they hold. That's up, I believe, 13 on what they had going into it today. And that's mainly at the expense of UKIP, who have had an absolutely terrible day in these local elections. They've gone from 15 councillors that they had back in 2013. A few of them have fallen by the wayside since with a few by-elections. But they're now down to 0. So UKIP, to all intents and purposes, are gone.
Yeah. And was that a surprise, Dan? UKIP's demise?
Hand on heart, I thought one or two of them might have a chance of personal votes might have counted in their favour, just because they were, some of them were pretty decent local councillors, but the voters have decided that they kind of, I think they think UKIP served their purpose. We're going back to the parties we used to vote for now, and that's exactly what's happened.
And online we've got the results, haven't we? We'll have the full round-up in the EDP tomorrow.
We will.
But when we look at some of those individual divisions, the swing of the actual votes themselves is huge, isn't it? Councillors that have a reasonable majority.
Yeah, they have absolutely just gone. And it's not just UKIP that have suffered as well, because the Greens, they still had 3 divisions in Norwich, and they've all gone. They've all been lost to Labour. So although Labour nationally might not have had a great day, they've actually had a pretty decent day in Norfolk. They've ended up with 17 seats, which is an increase of 3 on what they had before. So I think Labour would be pretty pleased with themselves, but for the Greens, losing those seats, that's a big deal for them locally.
So very good for the Blues, not too bad for the Reds, awful for the Purples, not good for the Greens at all. What about the other colours, the yellow? The yellows?
The Lib Dems have had a funny old day, really. They've done a bit of sort of playing swap with the Conservatives in a few of the divisions. The Lib Dems have actually ended up with one more division than they had previously. And there's a weird old situation on the coast where Cromer, which was Conservative, is now in control by the Lib Dems, and Sheringham, which was Lib Dem, is now in control of the Conservatives. So, strange day.
So do you think those people have maybe moved where they live in the last 4 years?
Well, who knows? But I think, as far as the general election's concerned, it's an interesting one for Norman Lamb, because I think he may see this as good news in that there's some wards which have gone Lib Dem, but it must worry him a little bit that there's some Lib Dem seats that have gone Conservative. So, interesting.
And the Conservatives seem to be throwing a lot of resource and a lot of attention at Norfolk. So that's going to be a tight one on June 8th, isn't it?
Yeah, they think that's a seat they can win.
Yeah. So in terms of, obviously, Norfolk County Council is massively important for all of our lives, all the things they do. So how do you think today's results are going to change the way the council runs?
Well, hand on heart, not a great deal, because the Conservatives, as I say, they have been in control since May. Before that, it was a Rainbow Alliance. What I suppose the Conservatives have now is a stronger mandate to do what they want to do. And in reality, there's so little money now for local councils that it's almost a case of there will be more cuts, but whoever was in power, there would be cuts. And it's just a case of making the best of what money is available.
I mean, is there anything that maybe they weren't able to do because they hadn't got that strong mandate and they now will do? Any specific examples or not?
Well, realistically, not a great deal. Expect more emphasis on roads from the Conservatives. I think that sort of thing, and economic development. But no, realistically, I think whoever was in power would have struggled to find a lot of money to do what they might wish to do.
Yeah. In terms of the personalities, because obviously it's often about personalities, any sort of big names that have gone or well-known people that have gone?
Well, Hilary Cox was a bit of a surprise in Cromer. She's been a Conservative there for quite a long time, so she was a surprise. Leslie Graham didn't win Thorpe Hamlet for the Greens. The Greens, the last 2 Greens that they've been there, have defected to the Conservatives. So whether that has made voters think, well, I'm not voting Green again.
Yeah.
But one of the strangest new county councillors is Dave Rowntree from Blur, who's swapping you know,
He's been banging the drum, has he?
Well, yeah. There's no other way. So he's gone from appearing.
Lost on everyone, I think. That I'm trying.
That's the Stone Roses. You've got it wrong. But he's gone from appearing at the likes of festivals across the globe to effectively sitting in County Hall, talking about whether a pothole should be repaired on a road over, near Loddon. Yeah. So goodness knows what he's going to do.
Strange old world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a former colleague of ours, going to become the youngest county councillor, Ed Coleman.
Yeah, that's right. He's barely 19.
Yeah. I think he's 12 would work there.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, he used to work for us, did Ed. So he's now a county councillor for the Conservatives.
And he had a huge majority.
Swaffham, yeah, absolutely thrashed Paul Smythe there of UKIP, who did hold the seat. So yeah.
We
have
a
bit of work to do there,
absolutely,
to learn what it's like to be a county councillor, but I'm sure he'll do fine. And
we heard a lot in the build-up about how low the turnout might be. I think it was actually
up slightly. It was up about 2% on last year, something like 34%. So yeah, I mean, whether the general election has energised people a little bit more, who knows? But yeah, not a bad turnout in these things, all things considering.
And do you think that there's going to be any? The parties now go away. Do you think they'll sort of have a different emphasis on the way they tackle June the 8th, or will they maybe carry on campaigning the way they have been?
I think they'll campaign very much as they have been. I didn't, hand on heart, see an awful lot of local campaigning in this election. It was very much, a vote for us in terms of the Conservatives is a vote for a strong and stable region. It was all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I don't see an awful lot of difference there. What might be interesting is who leads some of the parties. Because, each year it seems the Conservatives have a little fight between themselves. There's a leadership challenge. So it'll be interesting to see. I believe their meeting is tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see whether there's any challenge against Cliff Jordan or whether he will remain as leader of the Conservatives.
Yeah. But so they've now got 55 out of the 84 seats. So it's a fairly strong majority. And do you think, you mentioned Norman Lamb, do you think there's any other MPs that will be, if this is replicated on June 8th, that are going to be breathing a little bit lighter today, or maybe sweating a little bit more?
I don't think many of the Conservatives are really under an awful lot of threat in their seat. I think Clive Lewis will probably take quite a lot of, he'll take a bit of strength from this result, because Norwich has, it's more red than it was before. So for Clive, that is a good result.
Yeah, and there was certainly some gloomy faces around obviously the UKIP. And I think the quote from one of the UKIPs over in Yarmouth, talking about strong and stable, was this was a strong and stable defeat.
Yeah, Stuart Agnew, MEP, is the man that said that. So yeah, I think UKIP they've really got to go away now and figure out what role do we now play. And it'll be interesting to see, because we've not had all of their election candidates yet. It'll be interesting to see whether they do stand in all the seats.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. So just in terms of, let's just remind everyone where they can get all our analysis and results. So online now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a load of stuff online now. We're going to put the full results up shortly, once I've worked my way through them all. There is an online map which you can look at, which is all done and dusted, so you can see it that way. But yeah, there'll be plenty more reactions to come.
And 9 pages in the EDP, which we're going to go into now. So I think you'll sleep well tonight, Dan?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, and then we can crack on with the build-up for 4 weeks' time.
What, is there another one?
Great stuff. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll be continuing our roundup both online and in print, and then obviously lots of work to do before June the 8th. Thanks for tuning in.